Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am arguing for the case of evolution against creationism. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to prove to you exactly why your creationism arguments do not stand. So, the creationist argues, if human evolves from apes, then why are there still apes? My dear creationists, you have clearly misunderstood the meaning of evolution. Evolution does not prove that apes are the ancestors of humans. It proves that humans and apes have common ancestor. Another thing to note is, because they have a common ancestor back in their time, somehow the population got split, as evolution explains, and certain species of apes evolved into humans, while the other apes that stayed in the jungle environment among trees would not evolve because they did not have the need to, because they had the phenotypes that allowed them to survive in that environment. And that's also exactly why there are so many species of ape right now. Evolution is the improvement of phenotypes, of characteristics, traits in organisms. Get that in your head. And just to add on, it has been proven that chimp DNA and human DNA are 99% identical, which also proves that they do have a common ancestor and they did evolve from one organism. It's just that they ended up in different environments with different food sources, diets, and that's exactly why they evolved differently. So therefore, your argument does not stand. Another creationist argument is, you can't test evolution. It requires millions of years. Quoted, evolution is not testable, therefore it can't be a theory. Wrong. Evolution has been tested and is testable and has been proven with solid evidence. Let me just give an example. Bedbugs. Back when first DDT, this insecticide used against bedbugs, was introduced, it killed almost the whole population, but somehow a single mutation in one of these bedbugs caused an immune system boost against the insecticide used, and that's how the bedbugs have survived till now. The bedbugs, at first when the insecticide attacked them, could not fight against this, but as this mutation developed, and because of natural selection, it was beneficial because the bedbugs had a better chance of surviving against insecticide. Soon, this mutation dominated the population as reproduction rates of bedbugs finally returned, fought back, and went sky high again. Another human invention, another type of insecticide was introduced once again, and it's called pythoids, which is used right now. But somehow, it's not killing the bedbugs because of the mutation which is present, because pythoids works almost the same way as DDT does. And that's exactly why, because of evolution, bedbugs have not died out, and this is scientifically proven. And yes, it has been witnessed. There have been scientific observations made, charts made of bedbugs' regrowth. Scientists have been studying the bedbugs and how they have evolved. So, yes, it has happened. Therefore, and it doesn't require millions of years either. so thus it is testable, and it has been backed up by solid proof of fossil evidence, transitional fossils especially, which I will cover on later because of more arguments. Okay, argument 3. Have you ever witnessed evolution? Where's your proof? Like I said, I'm gonna say this now. There have been fossil evidence found, especially transitional state fossils, which this one is from the transitional state where fish began to develop limbs to walk on land, and this fossil is called Tiktaalik fossil, where you can observe that the fins of the fish became stronger, harder, more muscular, and the place where the fish was found, the position it lay was a supported stand where the fish could actually hold itself up and out of water that was present centuries ago. And based on study, scientists have observed that this kind of fish, before the population of this kind of fish, it was decreasing rapidly because it could not escape predators as well, because its phenotypes just weren't advantageous and it was meals. It developed this muscle or skeletal system within its fins that allowed itself to be pushed out of the water to have a better rate of survival to escape predators, and which later on allowed it to develop limbs as time passed, so that it could finally walk on land and evolve to what we are and all land animals. And there have been even more transitional fossils found, so your point does not stand. That is proof. And the bedbug just adds on. Actually, I have one more, but I'll explain that later. Argument 4. Life couldn't just happen by random chance. There must have been an intelligent creator. Right? No. Why? The fact is that evolution is not random chance. And the Big Bang Theory, in this case, is also scientific because scientists have discovered molecules, proteins present, and when the Big Bang happened, which allowed the development, the forming of life forms, of life, basically, which, yes, based on evolution and the environment changes, slowly evolved into more organisms and species, which is exactly why it is not random chance. In fact, you creationists can't even prove that there's a creator out there. Have you seen, heard, touched, smelt him? No. Proof, please? No. All you have is the Bible, which cannot even be proven. Argument 5. No new species have been produced, therefore evolution isn't true. Really? Wrong. I'll give another example. The rock pocket mice. Something like that. The rock pocket mice once lived on sandy deserts, and that's exactly why they had a paler, whiter fur, so that they could camouflage well against in their environment against predators. But volcanic eruptions that occurred changed some certain parts of the place they live into dark lava rocks. And those mice that lived in the areas were quickly actually dying out because they could be easily spotted against the dark rocks. So what happened? Evolution occurred again. Well, mutation occurred first. And that's the cause of evolution. So mutation occurred in DNA genes of the certain mice, and because of the switches in their genes, DNA. In fact, switches that have also been scientifically proven, and it backs up evolution because it proves that switches is a kind of it's in our DNA, and it controls the genes that make our hair, let's say, dark like mine, or it makes it blonde by the switches throw the genes on and off. So how you look, your appearance, your phenotypes can be determined by how your switches work. And yes, this has been proven. So this is what happened with the rock pocket mice, and because of a small change in the switch of controlling the color of the fur of the rock pocket mice, soon just one rock pocket mice had dark fur, and because that pocket mice had dark fur and it lived against dark rocks, it managed to survive, to reproduce, basically its offspring reproduced, and natural selection occurred because of the more advantageous trait that the dark rock pocket mice had. Soon, yes, that trait took over the population, and there was a resurgence in the number of rock pocket mice. And thus, this is an example of what can happen because of environment change that ushered evolution. So therefore, yes, your point does not stand again. Okay, argument 6. This is regarding education. Since education is a process of learning all sides of an issue, it is appropriate for both creationism and evolution to be taught side by side in school classrooms to kids. Not to do so is a violation of philosophy of education and the civil liberties of creationists. My dear creationists, first, this is kind of hard. If you teach creationism and evolution at the same time to kids, it's going to affect the way they see science, their basic understanding of science. Because creationism is a religious issue, and evolution is a scientific one. And basically, creationism and evolution, yes, they oppose each other because their explanation of how life is formed on Earth is completely different. Teaching both of them at the same time will not build a solid foundation for kids who in future will be leaders of our tomorrow. And a lot of them will have to study science, basically. If you teach them side by side, that's gonna affect the base solid foundation, what they think of science. And that's just going to mess up education. And violation of rights of the philosophy of education. I'm sorry. Rights are set by humans but can be changed in situations to better fit the better of citizens. Creationism, and it isn't even a theory. I'm sorry, but it has no proof whatsoever. It isn't even a theory. It's not scientific. And if you want to teach it, you shouldn't be teaching it in science class anyway. You should either be teaching it in maybe language arts or religion issues. To teach it next to science, that is a violation of education. So, my dear creationists, you are officially defeated. Thank you for listening to my speech.